The women of wisdom. Wow. The question was asked, what is wow? We know that it says women of wisdom, the acronyms for women of wisdom. Yes, it is, but it's so much more than that. Over my few years on this earth, I've had the great fortune of having a mother who was wise beyond understanding, who was smart beyond knowledge, and who had grace beyond explanation. The Women of Wisdom was crafted out of the model of my mother, Moselle Blair, Moselle Jordan Blair, whereby she was the first queen of Booker T. Washington in 1941, and she repeated in 1942. It was her grace, as some of her classmates would lament. It was her beauty. It was her charm. And it was her even-handed ability to deal with everyone, whether they knew they didn't deserve her to speak to them or deserve her to even include them in the existence of the day. But my mother had that kind of grace. She could even deal with individuals that she didn't care for, but she handled them with such style and with such manner that they always believed that she loved them so dearly. Not that she was a fake, she was real. And so it brings me to the points of a woman of wisdom. My mother was full of faith, as these women are, full of virtue, as these women are, full of grace, as these women are, certainly full of style, as these women are. And then what she did in her existence was left a legacy of substance, which is what these women are doing. These women, much like my mother, and much like their mothers and those who mentored them along the way, they are wise enough to never hedge on their beliefs, but always place a strong bet on their faith and what really matters. These women, like my mother, have the ability to watch things come to fruition. While you sit and you pour, you stir, you pour into individuals, you mentor, you pray for, you love, you chastise, you encourage. While you do all these things, at some point in time it seems that it's not going to turn out right, or it's gone all awry. My mother, in her wisdom, in her infinite wisdom, poured into us, poured into me, and allowed for her wisdom to prevail. While we were not at the point that she so chose for us to be, or she had designated in her hopes, dreams, and aspirations for us, she was a someday mother. Much like these honorees here, they're someday mothers, they're someday mentors. If you're not a mother, you're a someday mentor, because you've poured into, you have birthed something in someone. But all of the times that it seems as if it's failed and it's not going right, you're being a someday individual. Because you know that someday all those things that you poured in, that you prayed on, that you worked on, that you built, that you carried, that you labored lovingly with, that you know someday it would come to fruition, it would manifest. And it is because of those spirits and those virtues that we celebrate the women of wisdom, the woman of wisdom. Individually, that woman is you. Collectively, those women are your classmates. So, with heartfelt, deep consideration and loving adoration, we applaud you, these beautiful women of wisdom, 2020. I want to thank you from the Elite News and the Blair Foundation, and certainly from the spirit of Moselle Jordan Blair. Thank you. God bless. Continue your legacy. Continue to put it in one brick at a time, that you may bless people going forward. God bless you. God keep you is my prayer.
Good afternoon. I am Sherry Christian, and this is Belinda Hudson. On behalf of the Elite News and the Blair Foundation, welcome to the 7th Annual Women of Wisdom Gala. We at the Elite News are very excited to be able to acknowledge with honor each of the recipients of the Women of Wisdom Award. Today marks the 7th year of bestowing this award upon some very deserving women. Elite News is both happy and excited to showcase each woman. Today's Women of Wisdom are being recognized for their faith, wisdom, strength, leadership, kindness, direction, stewardship, and love.
These 14 women are also being highlighted for their commitment to the many important areas of time, such as family, friends, worship, work, community, and in some cases to their constituents. Thank you for your commitment to God's greatness planted within your heart and mind, and also the soul of each of you. We honor and appreciate your being present today. The citizens and the community at large are truly grateful you're being a beacon of light, and that all women of wisdom will be able to carry forward. Therefore, please be and feel our heartfelt welcome today.
At this time, I will present to you our Mistress of Ceremony, Ms. Cheryl Smith.
Good afternoon, and gosh, it seems like only last year we were here. And as always, it's a pleasure for me to be here because guess what? Women who feed the mind, body, spirit, soul, and our stomachs are being honored today. And it's a pleasure to be here with you and to recognize these nonprofit leaders, engineers, educators, nurses, attorneys, judges, artists, entrepreneurs, and it has to be the hardest job in the world, especially during these times, to be a United States Congresswoman. And we're honoring them here today, and I love being here. Why do I want to be here? Because I want to celebrate our women, and I appreciate the work that the Elite News and their family does to recognize the work that is going on in our community and to continue to support our community. And so, again, another welcome here. As you know, we are dealing with some challenging times, and we have COVID, we have the census, and I wish the C's could keep going. It sounds like a C, but I want to say Kamala. Yes, this is the year, this is election 2020, and I can't leave the stage without saying we all need to vote, we all need to fill out those census forms, and we all need to think about one another and protecting our safety and being safe and washing our hands, wearing our masks, and being responsible, because we want to get to the other side of this so we can talk about it and continue to build in our communities. So we're going to get started. And one thing I love about the Blair family is they recognize folks. And I can remember when there are a high school wins a championship, they're having a parade. Someone is celebrated for something, they're having a parade or an awards program. Because guess what? I went to a funeral one time, and a guy got up and spoke, and there were so many people out there at the church. And he said, I wish my cousin knew that everybody felt this way about him, because we weren't showing it. We weren't showing that love. So I have to salute the Blair family for showing the love. And I thank you for being with us. And with that, I am going to call up the founder of Women of Wisdom. It's a good thing you just recognizing and showing love for women. The one and only, the publisher of the Elite News, none other than Daryl Blair.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Thank you so much for that kind introduction. You've You've been kinder to me than my children at times. The Elite News Blair Foundation Women of Wisdom, thank you, Cheryl, is a celebration of people, more importantly and more specifically women. The purpose of the Elite News and the Blair Foundation is for community service. It's also for social support, as well as scholarship, summer camps, humanitarian aid locally, and just being a support to our community in any capacity we see fit. This was born of the idea, my father, William Blair, brainstorming with a cigar in his mouth and sitting at the desk twiddling on paper that he had strode all about his office. It came out of his mind, but it was brought of the spirit of my mother, Moselle Jordan Blair. It was out of the service of substance that this award has emanated. And we're certainly appreciative and grateful that we're able to honor these women in the spirit of Moselle Jordan Blair and in the spirit that they serve. Before I bring up Bishop Nichols, I want to remind you of some words that my mother would often echo throughout the halls of that house and anywhere else she would catch you. She said, baby, there is so much good in the worst of us and so much bad in the best of us. It's in the best interest of all of us not to talk about any of us. But I encourage you to encourage those who are doing good by you and good service to you. Having said that, I want to take this opportunity to bring up none other than the bishop, the word bringer, the word maker, and the candlestick shaker. Yes, he is. A wonderful man with a wonderful word, a great spirit, endowed with the word of God. None other than Bishop R.L. Nichols from the River of Life Church, DeSoto, Texas. Come on, Bishop, give it to him.
God bless you, sir. And thank you for this awesome opportunity. Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thy forever will be. Summer and winter, springtime and harvest, the sun, moon, and stars in their courses up above join with all nature in manifold witness to thy great faithfulness, your mercy and love. Great is thy faithfulness. How many know God is faithful? Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercy I see. All I've ever needed, your hands have always provided. Great is thy faithfulness, O Lord, unto me. Father, I thank you for this opportunity to share your word. These few fleeting moments, I ask that you would word my mouth, that you would speak through me. Father, I ask that you would give me the cognitive clarity, the physical vigor and vitality to share your word with your people today. Those who are present, those who are watching, those who are being honored. But most importantly, to you, O God, we give you glory and honor. Use me in these few moments, and I'll give you all the praise. In Jesus' name, amen. What a mighty God we serve, and to this great, awesome newspaper, the Blair family, to this great publisher, Daryl Blair, and to all of these awesome women of God who will be honored and celebrated today. I have a word of encouragement for you today that I will quickly share. And I call your attention to the book of James, of all places, verse 2. Count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. Verse 5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. I want to really focus on that 5th verse. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given to him. I would like to talk briefly about winning wisdom. Winning wisdom. And I would use as a subtopic the kind of wisdom that causes you to win. You are being celebrated today not because of what you've gone through, but you are celebrated today because of what you have come through and came out of. There is a difference. We sympathize with what people have gone through, but we celebrate people because they go through and they come out victoriously. It is our God who always causes us to triumph. That whatever it is that we experience, whatever we encounter, we have the assurance that everything in the life of a winner always ends well. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, for those who are the called according to his purpose. Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the thoughts that I think toward you. They are thoughts of peace. They're not evil. I want to give you a hope. I want to give you a future. And I want to bring you into an expected end. Now, when we look at the word winning, there is no way you can dig into the true essence of what it means to win without at least embracing the battle that is involved in it. Because if somebody's going to win, that means there has to be something that opposes you. That means there has to be an alternative individual or circumstance or something that you have to conquer. And every one of these women have been through something, and somehow you have come through it victoriously. With that gives you a responsibility, because the women were supposed to pour into the next generation of women to give them that wisdom of how they were able to go through and to come out successfully. The Bible is full of examples and instances in which women overcame great obstacles but they came out and they used something as simple as wisdom. I picked this particular passage of scripture as the Lord directed me. And James chapter 1 is very interesting in its writing. It almost seems like that of an unpolished writer until you really look at it and understand what it is that the book of James was trying to convey. You find the introduction of James. Then when you get to verse 2, it immediately and abruptly goes into this thought about temptations and trials. Offers a suggestion to count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. Those are obstacles, those are trials. And it is conveyed to us to count it a joy. Because the only person who is exempt from attacks are the person who have not, or the people who have not found or taken on their assignment. When you set out to do something great, there are going to be obstacles. But we find out that ministry is birthed out of misery. And sometimes your greatest message can come out of a mess in your own life. We know that testimonies are produced out of tests that individuals encounter. But the writer says, I want you to count it all joy. Because so often we find ourselves saying, why me? And God is simply saying, why not you? Who else can I depend on to take a licking and keep on ticking? Who else can I depend upon to roll up your sleeves and break a nail if you have to? Get a run in your stockings, ladies, if you have to. But to take on the assignment of life and do it with joy. You've got to learn how to put a smile on your face, even when your heart is hurting, even when it feels like you've been broken. You've got to know that God has made choice of you. And if you praise him while you're in it, God has committed to bring you out. That excites me. Count it all joy when you fall into different kinds of trials and temptations. I was reading the other day in the book of Psalms. It says, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivereth him out of them all. How exciting it is to know that whatever we go through, our afflictions may be many, our afflictions may be diverse, but we have the guarantee that he will bring us out, that he will carry us through if we keep pushing and we keep believing and believing by faith. Now, here is what gets interesting to me, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire, wanting or lacking nothing. That sounds pretty good, Brother Blair, but what messes me up is that it seems like improper writing. Because out of the clear blue, it begins to now speak in the 5th verse, if any of you lack wisdom. Now, wait a minute. We were just talking about temptations. We were just talking about trials. We were talking about patience. We were talking about overcoming obstacles in life. But then it says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God. How does this fit? That if you are going to make it through the trials of life, you are going to need God's wisdom. And you ladies are being honored, because in the midst of the most difficult trials of your life, you looked up to the hills from which cometh your help, and you asked God, God, give me wisdom how to get through it. And we're yet asking God in the midst of COVID, in the midst of all that's in the midst of this pandemic, we're saying, God, give us your wisdom. How do we have in-person service? How do we keep the church together when things are falling apart? How do we keep our community get together when things are going difficult? And you have met the challenge, and we're celebrating you today because you took advantage to stop and pray and say, God, if you give me your wisdom, Somehow I'll lead somebody out of this. Somehow I'll use my experience to carry someone through. So he says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God. Let him ask God. And if you ask God, he'll give it to you liberally. He'll give it to you abundantly. He'll give it to you more than enough. Is that right? He says, but when you ask, you got to ask in faith. Nothing wavering, because a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And let not that man think that he shall receive anything from God. There is a wisdom, as I close, that causes losers to win. There is a wisdom that changes your position in life. There is a wisdom that causes you to go through and to come out more than a conqueror. It is a wisdom that causes you to go through great difficulties and challenges in your life and then come out with a t-shirt, say, been broken, been through trials, been through dangers, been through toils and snares, but somehow in the midst of it all, God has sustained us. Oh, I got to wrap it up here because I'm out of time. But there is a woman named Hannah who ended up with Samuel because she pushed past her provoker Penina. Oh yes, oh yes. There is a woman whose name is Esther who changed the fate of an entire nation because she said, if I perish, I perish, but I'm going in anyhow. Ruth and Naomi, through their perseverance of walking through difficult times, in that long road, in that long drive, in that long journey from Moab to Bethlehem, and there they found someone who literally changed their life. I want you to know that if you would do what the word of God says, over in the book of Proverbs, it says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart. Lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and the Lord will direct your path. Oh, I better quit. I'm getting too excited. But I just need to tell you right now that you women of wisdom, you ain't seen nothing yet. That you're getting ready to see the greatest victories of your life. And today we pause to celebrate your wisdom. We pause to celebrate your faith. We pause to celebrate the fact that you could have quit, but you kept going. You've been through dangers, been through toils, been through difficult situations, but in the midst of it all, you've got a testimony that he brought you out all right. You got a testimony that he will, with the temptation, also make a way for your escape. Listen, you're gonna win. You're already winning because your trust is in God. God bless you, and thank you for this time.
Amen. What a wonderful word of encouragement and a word of wisdom to the women of wisdom. We want to take this opportunity to feed into the very essence of why we're here. I would like to ask for a young lady by the name of Ariel Talton to come on up, as she is this year's scholarship recipient from the Elite News Blair Foundation. Now, this has already been given to you, and she happened to hold on to it quite tightly. Ariel, this is to you from the Elite News Blair Foundation to further your education at Prairie View, whatever it may help you to do. I'm certainly proud to be able to give this to you in the spirit of William Blair and Moselle Blair, and certainly the Blair Foundation. You have reached a point that it deserves celebrating, and at some point you will transcend into a woman of wisdom. However, you are the beneficiary of my father being a Prairie View grad, my brother being a Prairie View grad, and certainly I'm a Prairie View product. So I want to say to you, congratulations. Thank you for your service to yourself first and foremost, and your great representation to your family, your father, your mother, and to your community, to your school, Carter, where you went to school, and certainly to my alma mater, PV, you know. Thank you very much, and God bless. At this particular time, I just want to we're getting ready to go into our awards ceremony. I certainly want to thank Bishop Nichols for his kind and wondrous words and inspiring words. We're at a point now that we're getting ready to wholesomely recognize those beautiful women who have labored lovingly and that he so warmly echoed. I'll have Cheryl Smith to come on up now, and she will take us into the next part of the program. But I would be remiss if I stood here and did not give credit and kudos to my brother in his lateness, Jordan Blair, who, while my father founded Elite News, my brother Jordan built the paper. And so I am the recipient, and I am grateful for this opportunity that he has presented me with me, and my father has presented to me, and my mother has presented me in birth. So Cheryl Smith, you can feel more than kind to come on up to the stage and join us, unless you've gotten camera shy. But I see that you're coming now.
Here I
Thank
come.
you so
Here
much,
I
Cheryl.
come.
Bless you.
Okay, it's time to recognize these women, and I talked about them again earlier, and also we want to recognize those past recipients, because this is year 7, and what a wonderful class of women, what a wonderful class of women. So we're going to get ready. We have the video ready, and let's roll them.
So Texarkana is actually where I started practicing law. Once I graduated law school from University of Houston, and I started off doing class action defense work. I hated it, and I questioned, why did I ever become an attorney? At that point in time, I thought that I was going to transition back to my business roots, because that's what I majored in, was business. And instead, they actually started a public defender's office. And I said, you know what? I've always wanted to be a courtroom lawyer, that I would never do criminal, but let me just sign up for the public defender's office. I applied, told my boss I had no experience, but he needed me because I was black. And people thought I was crazy that I said that on an interview, but the reality was I understood even back then, at the tender age of I think 26, that one thing we needed in the criminal justice system were people that looked like me, because so many people that are being incarcerated don't have anybody that looks like me. So I ended up with the public defender's office at that point in time, and that's kind of what started it all, my village. So that's gonna be my mom, and at this point, really my team that worked with me in this campaign. Anytime I ever feel as if, man, I don't know how I'm gonna keep going, they're always there. They're always there to tell me I'm Superwoman when I'm not. But they make me feel like Superwoman. I've got a great team. My mom has always been my biggest cheerleader, and my dad. My dad is a preacher, so of course I can always call on him and say, Dad, I need a little help getting through this one. And he's always been a great spiritual source in my life as well. What do I like? I think the fact that I don't take myself so seriously. I imagine most people probably take me more seriously than I take myself. But I know that life is short, and it's all about making a difference and having fun while you're doing it. So I truly feel blessed every day that I wake up, and I kind of pinch myself when I think about the fact that I'm actually walking into the first job that I've ever just been so excited to walk into. So I would say the fact that I don't take myself so seriously is what I like best about me. In 10 years, I see myself still working as a public servant, for sure. By that point in time, I would hope that I would have made enough change that I am actually now facilitating the next generation of elected officials and getting some newly elected people of color down to the Texas legislature. I've achieved my goals in life thus far, I would say, more so because anything that I've set out for myself, I've done it career-wise. I would say on a personal note, I'm 39, I've never married, and I don't have kids. So I may have some personal goals that I need to shoot for in the near future. But from a career standpoint, I can't imagine my life going any other way. I want people to truly believe that this society does have elected officials that truly care. I think for so long we've lost faith in elected officials. We think that politics is nothing more than corruption and games. And I'm hoping to change people's belief when it comes to politics. And I'm hoping that more people that really have a heart for the people decide to step up to the plate and realize that good will beat evil all day long, and that we really can make a difference if we just work at it and we believe that we can make a difference. So that's really all that I want to do, is give people hope that they will finally have elected officials that they truly believe are working for them all the time.
You know, I grew up in Western Kentucky is where I got my start. You know, I grew up, both of my parents only had an 8th grade education, but they believed in education. And so they made sure that my brother and I had access to a college education. And that led me to my first job at Texas Instruments. And I was there for 30 years. And I got to see a lot of things in the community as a result of many of my positions that were there. I was in Houston for 13 years, and I've been here in the DFW area since 1999. But I've been to all places around the world, and I've seen what's happened in the community. And I knew that after I left there, after 30 years, that I wanted to do something that would give back to the community, that would help lift up our community. And no matter where you're at in the world, hunger is the most basic of needs. You know, every day whenever I get up and I come into work knowing that we're going to be able to make a difference for those people who are in our community, in my office I have a saying on the wall that says, "Love your neighbor as yourself." And for me, it's about my faith and about what I want to be able to do to make sure that we're loving our neighbors. And that means a lot across the community for me, just to make sure that we're able to love our neighbors. And the way that we do that is provide hope through food. What do I like about myself? I guess is, you know, that's hard to really talk about, right? But, you know, I like a challenge, and I'm a little competitive, and whatever I do, I want to make sure that I can do it to the very best of my ability. My father instilled that in me from a very young age. Just always do your best. Always do your best. And so whatever I do, I want to do my best, and hopefully it will have an impact for those that are in our community as well. You know, in 10 years from now, it's, you know, I hope to still be doing something that's impacting our community. I don't see myself as ever quote unquote retiring. Whenever I left Texas Instruments, I called it as graduation because I knew I wanted to go off and do something that would be of benefit to our community. So I don't think you ever need to retire. I think you always, whether you're getting paid for your work or not getting paid for your work, you always need to make sure that you're doing something of substance. And then on a personal side, I certainly hope I have some grandkids by that time. So have I achieved my goals in life is a really interesting question, because I've tried to always just be open to new opportunities, always trying to do my best, trying to continue to move forward, and then just be open to what might be next. Do we have goals? Sure, we have goals. And my goal right now is just to make sure that we can do everything we can to make sure that people have food on their tables. I hope to leave society a little bit better than what it was before I started in whatever job that I'm in. So right now, you know, I hope that we can reduce the number of people that are hungry in our community. I hope that we can help people collaborate. I'm hoping that we can bring people together towards this cause that we know will help to lift up. No matter what nonprofit you're in or what healthcare issue you're in, we want to be able to lift up everyone in our community.
I started in Louisiana, choosing to go to law school. Number one, I was in interior decorating, and I wanted to help people, consumers. And then after I finished my undergraduate at Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I decided to take the test for entrance into law school, went there, and it's history. So I'm here today as an attorney, an author, an associate judge, a mentor, and one of your illustrious recipients of the Women of Wisdom Award. thank you so much. The inner strength, God, and the teachings that I have had. This is a great award here, Women of Wisdom. You draw your strength on other people that plant seeds of wisdom into you. So the strength, the integrity, my self-confidence has all been built upon a strong family base and trusting in God in all of the things that I do. And I am resilient. I am relentless, all because of the inner upbringings that I've had. I like the fact that I don't give up. I'm Capricorn. When I face adversity, it makes me stronger. I love that. You try to knock me down and I come back stronger. That's what we all have to have, that inner ability, that these obstacles we face in life, we need to overcome them, move forward and swiftly. And I like that part about me. I love helping people and being a mentor to all. Women, young people of all ethnicities. I see myself as being in the media that I like, having a show that is a prominent show, engaging individuals and educating the public, all to knock down barriers to make everybody has a fair opportunity in this judicial system. As long as we are living, I have not achieved all goals in life. I have achieved some. As long as we are on this earth, we are to be achieving, to be better, stronger, and able to spread that love, look back, lift up, and inspire others. Hopefully an indelible mark of Bobby Edmonds. When people think of my name, they'll say, she did great things, she helped me. I remember the wisdom that she shared with me. And I am a better person, and this world was better because she was here. They can read my books, and I plan to write additional books so that I can continue to educate people about our history, about local history, about things that just like the Elite News is doing, making sure people are included and educated with a publication that does just that.
I got my start at the Family Place by volunteering. I worked in special events and helped do fundraisers for the Family Place. And that was a long time ago. It was 32 years ago when I started as a volunteer. And then I became a staff member because we decided to grow as an organization. The issue for family violence needed more money and we needed more help at the Family Place. So I joined the staff in 1991 and I've been here ever since. The success of the children, women, and men who come to the Family Place is what sustains me. It is so hard to flee a home where there's been domestic violence, and to see the change in the people who come gives me so much joy and makes me so happy to know that I contributed in some small part to their new lives. What I love about myself is that I have a sense of humor and that I also am relentless. I have so much energy for this issue and I love doing what I do, which makes me happy with myself. In 10 years, I'll be 74 years old, so I hope I'm sitting on a dock fishing somewhere. I have achieved my goals in life. My kids are happy and healthy. I've been married to my husband for 40 years, and I love doing what I'm doing because my biggest goal was to help people when I got into this work, and that's what I've been able to do. If I could leave anything on society, it would be that domestic violence doesn't happen anymore, that we don't blame the victims of this horrible, horrible problem, and that people are taken for who they are and helped where they need to be helped and respected for what they've experienced.
I got my start back in 2006. It was rumored that Judge Steele was going to retire from the bench after 30 years from this position. So I had lunch with Judge Steele and his beautiful wife Barbara, and they confirmed that he would be retiring. And of course, he couldn't support me as a judge, but I wanted to make sure that he knew I was interested in the job. And then subsequently, Barbara introduced me to William Blair, my wonderful, wonderful mentor who I miss dearly. And he said, "Baby, I'm gonna help you." And I'll never forget that at the table at Luby's, and that's when my campaign started officially. What sustains me is, in my first year as a judge, I had 2 beautiful babies. I have twins. And Madeline and McKenna keep me going every day. And I tell you, the Lord blessed me immensely with those 2. And when I look at them, I know I want them to be proud of me. And so when I wake up every day and I get to kiss my babies and tell them I love them, you know, it keeps me going. And I love serving my community. It's nothing like it. I was born and raised here in Highland Hills. And to serve in Precinct 1 and serve the people that have raised me and I grew up around, it's been a journey. I couldn't have asked for a better blessing. What I like about myself is I think I exercise compassion. I'm glad to have 2 parents who were educators, who did a lot for students here. I think I'm a born teacher. And being in this position gives me an opportunity to listen to the needs of people, to serve the needs of people. It's more than just the bench. I call it beyond the bench. So I get to do a lot of things beyond just being justice of the peace, but I get to serve my community in a way where I can exercise compassion and I can be a part of my community and make sure that we get what we need in our communities. Well, in 10 years, it's been 13 years on the bench, and I've enjoyed every minute of it, but I also think that you have to pass things along. I believe in mentoring, and so for me, I would love to do 20 years, which is 1 more term for me. In this position, and I'd like to teach. Again, my parents were born teachers. I think I'm a teacher, and I'd like to be a professor in law school and maybe give back that way. So I can see myself in a university teaching law and giving back that way. I think I have definitely achieved some of the things I set out to be. I never really set out to be a judge. I always wanted to be an attorney. I knew I wanted to be an attorney when I was 12. And so I think, God has certainly opened doors for me that I could never have imagined. Being the first African-American Black female justice of the peace in Dallas County has been just overwhelming. And so I think as long as you're living, you should strive to achieve goals. And so I will say it's not done yet. So as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to make sure that I serve my community in some capacity, in some way. So I think the best is yet to come. I hope I leave on society a better than I found where I am today. So what I'm looking to leave is a legacy. That we can make a difference in our community and that we should. So not only should we be just elected as to serve our community, but we need to show that in our actions. And so I hope that the legacy I leave behind is one that I left this position better than I got it. I hope that Judge Steele will be very proud of what he left so that I could get in this position, and I hope the next person who takes it on will do even greater things and leave it better off than it is today.
I started out as a kid in West Dallas with my mom going to church, and that was the beginning of me finding God in my life. And from there, I've always worked with youth. I was a teacher for a while. I worked as a banker. I helped out in all kinds of ways, but currently I'm the area director for Young Life in West Dallas. Well, the things that I felt like that has sustained me and kept me in Young Life for over 20 years and kept me in youth work for probably 30, 40 years is the fact that I know that our young people need someone to encourage them and guide them and help to empower them to know that they are wonderful beings because God made them. And he didn't make any junk. Well, one thing I think I like about myself is I can't get jokes. I think it's funny. I don't get them, they fly over my head, 5 minutes later, 2 minutes later, then I get it, and I think it's the funniest thing. But that's one thing I like about me. I don't get jokes, and I kind of have a sense of humor, which I don't think they go together. In 10 years, I don't think I'll be retired. I think I'll still be working with youth. I think I'll still be out there in the community trying to make a difference, trying to empower, trying to build up. But in the midst of that, I'll be traveling, having a great time doing mission work, just having fun, because God, if He got us here another 10 years, I'm going to enjoy myself doing so. I think I'm working on totally achieving my goals in life. I think I'm in the place where God wants me. I know that sweet spot, that just being there for youth is important to me. But every day I'm working toward achieving a goal, doing something positive, staying involved, being energetic, keeping my health intact, helping other people. So that's my goal. I don't think I'll ever totally achieve it, but I work toward it every single day. But one thing I'd love to leave on society is to love yourself first. Don't be angry at the small things. Make a difference. God made us to honor Him and to help others. And in order to do so, you gotta love yourself in order to help somebody else. So love yourself, but then you can help some other people as well.
How did I get my start? Well, I went to law school in Houston, Texas. I went to Thurgood Marshall School of Law at Texas Southern University, and I started out of law school at a national law firm. But essentially, I had an opportunity to intern my third year of law school with the Harris County Attorney's Office, and I met a lawyer in court who actually was a partner at the firm that I ultimately joined. What sustains me? I thought about this particular question, and to be just very frank, God sustains me. The memory of my parents sustains me. My children and my husband sustain me. What do I like about myself? I like the fact that I am authentic. I like the fact that I am resilient. And I like the fact that I've never really been into comparisons. I only want to be better than the person that I was on yesterday. That's what I like most about myself. Where do I see myself in 10 years? I see myself on the bench, representing the citizens of Dallas County. I love what I do. I have a passion for justice. It's been a right fit for me and my family. And I really want to continue to do what I love to do. And that is ensuring that our courthouse doors remain open, even for those that don't believe it is open to them. I want to continue to do that and make sure that the citizens of Dallas know that justice can be served at our courthouse. I've achieved many of my goals in life. Right now I'm focused on November 3rd. As I am a candidate in the general election, so that is my goal right now, to making sure that I'm successful in the general election. So that's sort of the goal that I have right now. But I set goals every year and kind of review them. So I think you're never too old to stop setting goals, and you're never too old to start making the bar a little bit higher each year. So I do that usually at the end of the year. What's my goal for this next year? I think that what I look to leave on society is probably what I mentioned before, and I want to make sure that I leave this place a better place in which I found it. I think that the Bible verse that comes to mind is, "To whom much is given, much is required," and so I live by that. I've been given a lot. I give back a lot because I know that that is required of me, and that's just a small deed that I can do for so many that poured into me.
Hi, this is Tisha of Project Identity, and we're about to perform for you, and we're so excited that you are joining us today on the Women of Wisdom Awards. Hasn't it been exciting? Well, here comes the entertainment. Here we go.
I remember what I used to be, made my plans by myself, couldn't tell me anything, blind to see you were all I need, told myself so many lies, I was hurting deep inside, no matter how hard I tried, couldn't get it right, couldn't get it right. right. Then I heard a still voice said, you love me where I was, loving me no matter what. My sins have been washed by your blood. All I had to do is come to you, wake up and accept the truth. Finally realize I need you. You can have my heart, Lord, you can have all of me. I surrender, don't wanna hold back anything. I will give you all my time. For you I live, for you I die. Put aside all my pride. I humble myself to my knees I fall. I give it all, I give it all. I give it all, I give my all. I give it all, I give it all. I give it all, I give my all. I give it to you, I give myself away. I follow you because you've shown me a brighter day. I belong to you, you only. No one else but you, 'cause you own me. So in love with you, I'm guilty. I'll pay the price all day and night. Then I heard a still voice said, you love me where I was, loving me no matter what. My sins have been washed by your blood. All I had to do is come to you, wake up and accept the truth. Finally realize I need you. You can have my heart, Lord, you can have all of me. I surrender, don't wanna hold back anything. I will give you all my time. For you I live, for you I die. Put aside all my pride. I humble myself to my knees I fall. I give it all, I give it all. I give it all, I give my all. I give it all, I give it all. I give it all, I give my all. I give it all, I give it all. I give it all, I give my all. I give it all, I give it all. I give it all, I give my all. I give it all, I give it all. I give it all, I give my all. I give it all, I give it all. I give it all, I give my all. I give it all.
Good afternoon. Congratulations to the Women of Wisdom. My name is Brian Everstein. My law firm, Herbert and Everstein, had the great opportunity, and it is an opportunity, to be a sponsor of this wonderful event. We've done it for several years. It's an important event because the recognition of the Women of Wisdom is important, not merely for their intelligence and their wisdom, we all recognize that, but for their commitment every day to their professionalism and to our community. So in addition, Women of Wisdom, to my congratulations, which are very sincere, I want to thank you for your everyday commitment to the welfare, safety, and betterment of all of us in our community. Congratulations and thank you again.
How I got my start. Really, I would have to share with you my background so that you know how I got my start. And I am shaped by my background. I grew up in Montreal, Quebec, one of the most diverse cities in the world. speaking French and English at school and Spanish at home. I grew up with two parents who are Guatemalan human rights advocates and who were always busy reading, writing, discussing, attending meetings, marches, attending conferences and church gatherings. And I was in the middle and part of it all. They were the two people I most admired and I wanted to be like them. Some of my fondest memories have to do with waking up on Saturday mornings with the sound of my dad's South African choir music in the background, or my mom's favorite piano concertos, or flamenco music playing in the background. And as I made myself, as I took a seat at the breakfast table, they would be snacking on a spread. You know, they were very busy, but on Saturday mornings, that was a spread. And so we had, you know, French bread and cheese and scrambled eggs with tomato sauce and frijoles, which are beans, with fresh cream and coffee. And each of them were reading newspapers, their own newspapers. And I would hear, as I was eating my breakfast, I would hear them comment and debate. They taught me love and empathy and how to be sensitive for all people's causes. They taught me how to listen to each and everyone's story, that everyone's story was important and that they needed to have a voice. From the farm worker who labored the soil while being sprayed with pesticide, to the diplomat who critically challenged the way they thought human rights violations needed to be exposed. And even as a child, I had a voice. My opinion counted. It was debated, but it counted. They taught me that history needed to be remembered and that I needed to know my history to be a productive citizen and know what was coming next. They taught me their version of the wonderful late Congressman John Lewis's Getting in Good Trouble, because they gave me permission to challenge the system when the system was unfair and unequitable. And most importantly, they taught me how to speak less and listen more. And so that's how I knew that I had a path in a judicial role. I knew how to read with a critical eye. I knew how to debate propositions. I knew how to listen to everyone's story to find the truth, and also how to interpret the law and find and locate the spirit of the law to make sure that a just and an equitable result was had. Okay, in 10 years I see myself still working to better the community, working to ensure that justice prevails. Maybe as a judge, maybe in a different capacity. One of the hardest things about being a judge, it's one of our biggest responsibilities, is to make sure that we don't share our personal beliefs and our opinions about world events. And that is, of course, to ensure that we are impartial when we hear any case. But I've been on the bench at this point about 7.5 years. I was on the municipal court bench for 5. I'm going on to 1.6 now. And the more events happen around me, the more I start to think that eventually I'm going to become back into the advocacy role. I still don't have that itch yet. I love my job. I love imparting justice. But eventually I do see myself maybe as a CEO of a nonprofit organization. Well, I have achieved some goals. I have become an attorney like my parents. That was one of my big goals. I became a judge, my dream job. It's not only just, intellectually stimulating, but I do think I'm making a difference in how people who come before me see how justice can be achieved. And I also believe that I've become a role model for young girls who can see how you can earn the community's support by being genuine and truly caring. Now, the goals that I have not yet achieved, just in keeping with my parents, trying to achieve what they have achieved, I would like to eventually write a book. Dad has written a couple of books and published articles. Mom is an excellent storyteller. So maybe, in 20 years, I'll be writing a book. I would also love, and this is a wild dream, but to help build a museum and a memorial for the victims of the Guatemalan state-sponsored genocide, to educate the public about what happened to the Mayan people. Well, what I look to leave on society, hopefully good memories, and also, hopefully a blueprint on how you can help build a society that is respectful of all and that celebrates everybody.
At the end of a long day, you just want to go home and eat a hot meal, be in your own safe environment? Well, I found out that doesn't happen for thousands of kids in our own community. And I said, somebody needs to do something. And I realized I was a somebody. Don't have to wait on everybody, just became a somebody. When I get out of bed, I get the mindset of, hey, I can use my faith, I can think bigger God thoughts, I can get outside of myself, I can make a difference. Who doesn't want to get up and do that? You know what? I show up and I'm going to stick with it till I win. I'm going to show up, I'm going to use my faith. Hey, call me in the next decade, I'm still going to be saved, I'm still going to be showing up, I'm still going to be using my faith. I'm going to stick with it till I win. If God showed us all the details, we'd probably get scared or we'd run ahead and mess everything up. But this one thing I do know is that I'm going to stick with it till I win.
I had an interesting start, probably common like most young ladies. I had a single mom, first in my family to go to college, and so fast forward to SMU Law School, I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew I was smart enough to be there. And so, I knew that once I got that law degree, I would be able to get a job because whether I graduated top of my class or bottom of my class, I was still an attorney. However, I just didn't know how the world really worked. And I did not get a job out of law school. I was not hired by law firms in Dallas, but that didn't stop me. I just said, well, I'll just do it on my own, which is what I did. 20 years ago, started my law practice and have had an opportunity to not only grow myself, but other female attorneys who didn't have the opportunities, just like I didn't, to be able to catapult themselves in their career. What sustains me is my holy and unfettered love of God, and the fact that He has brought me thus far in my life. So I give all praises to Him. He is number one. After Him, of course, is my family, especially my husband, Larry. He's been there with me through everything over the last 23 years, even a breast cancer battle in 2019. And I don't know that where I would be without him or my family. I like a lot of things about myself. I like the fact that I don't take no for an answer. I like the fact that when I don't see a clear path, I trust God to be able to get to where I need to be. I'm one of those faith girls. I just know if I can't see it, it doesn't matter because I know He has me. I love the fact that I'm resilient. Even through my illnesses, I continue to work, build my practice, and continue to serve my community. In 10 years, I would love to see my family financially stable. Our 3 children should be out of law school, 2 of them out of law school, and 1 with his master's in engineering. And so at that point, I believe that I can begin living my life again. I've been practicing law for 20 years. In 10 years, I'm sure I'll still be practicing law, but it will be because of my love of the practice of law and not out of necessity. I would love an opportunity one day to serve Dallas County on the bench as a judge, but we'll see what God's path is for me. Have I achieved my goals in life? I believe that my life is not my own, and I give God the praise because He is the one who has ordained my steps. I believe that the life I live is a life I love, that He has given me. And I know there are some things that He has in store for me and that I haven't fulfilled yet. So until I accomplish those goals that I know He set for me, I still have work to do. But I'm enjoying the journey. I would love to leave a legacy of just inspiring young women who don't have the opportunities that I didn't have, to know that they can succeed if they just trust themselves and trust God and move forward on the path that He has set for them. Just trust the things that He has put in you, that you can achieve whatever you desire. Just keep going. If you don't quit, you'll win.
So I started in theater 26 years ago in Atlanta. I was writing for my church choir. I was singing in the choir, and the choir director said, "I'm going to make you part of the church gathering this year." And I said, "So what do you want me to do, write a play?" He said, "That's a good idea." So I wrote a skit, and 18 months later, we were on tour with that skit that I wrote because I wrote the second half. The skit went over so well, I was encouraged to write a full-length play, and that's what I did. And I was bit by the bug. So I started TICO, Theatrical Productions, started a nonprofit, and the rest is history. You know, theater has a way of changing hearts and minds. It's not just a form of entertainment. It's a way to help kids find their voice. I have a case study in my own house. I mean, my son got his start, cut his teeth on our stage, and Albert has a $100,000 scholarship at Point Park University in Pittsburgh. And I've seen him grow as a young adult and into this beautiful man. And I have so many stories. I love that I'm determined. I love that I'm resilient. I love being a Black woman. I love the strength of my ancestors, building on the strength of my ancestors. And so, you know, what I love probably most is that I grew up around strong Black women who instilled so many values and principles in me. Bishop Arts Theater is the economic engine for the Bishop Arts District. None of this was here when we first moved in. People saw us bringing people in the community, selling out performances, and that's how the neighbors, and really that's how the area has been gentrified. I mean, developers saw a gold mine here, and we were part of that transition. There are a few things that I want to do, a few other things that I want to do. I love traveling. For the last 3 years, I was a Tony voter, so I spent a lot of time in New York, and I know that more stories need to be told from people who look like me, and I really want to help make that happen. So there are a few other things that I'd like to do. I'm not finished yet. This theater is a legacy. This theater, all that we've built here is important to this community. And so I hope that not just the next generations, but generations long after can enjoy the benefits of having a multicultural arts institution here in this Oak Cliff area.
I am the CEO of Dequita Enterprises, Inc., and we do a lot of engineering work around Dallas, notable projects. But I got my start probably in the 1800s. I know you wasn't expecting that answer, but I come from a long line of entrepreneurs, right out of slavery. Great-grandfather was a blacksmith, and I won't go through all the lineage there, but my grandfather owned a liquor store and a bar business, and probably bootlegging, and my mother and father were entrepreneurs, so we owned weight-losing franchises, real estate, everything. So at the age of 10, I was the bookkeeper for the family business. And by the time I got into college, my dad snagged me, and I ended up here in Dallas working with him. Was the CFO for 26 years before I took over as CEO 10 years ago. What sustains me is that generational legacy and wealth. What is important to me, because I come from a small family, I'm the only child between my dad and my mom, and I have one cousin left that has 2 children, and to me, following my mom's side of the family, that's a very small unit. And so what sustains me is to keep that legacy going, trying to find that sweet spot where my kids will feel honored and pleased and willingly to take our business to the next level. I like a lot of things about myself. I think the biggest thing I like about myself is that I wake up every day hungry. I am an entrepreneur to my heart, and so looking for new opportunities is always what I want to dream about. I dream about that, and I'll dream about that when I'm 90. The other thing I like about myself is that I'm not hardened. I'm the boss, don't get me wrong, but I'm not hardened. I'm a black American female single woman, and I'm not hardened by a failed marriage. I'm always looking for that guy that's going to share that rocking chair with me. I like that. I like the fact that I have that feminine side. I see myself in 10 years probably doing a different type of business, perhaps still with engineering, probability, yes, but I see myself in starting up a new business. We're looking right now that my kids may carry on. My oldest is into nutrition, my youngest is into nutrition. They have learned a lot about technology, so we're looking at things like airport concessionaire on the nutrition side, wellness clinics, nutritional franchises, and I just love market research. So I'm just looking for new opportunities, and in 10 years I would have snagged on one of those. I set out to be successful. I'm pretty successful. I set out to have 2 kids. I had 2 kids, and I set up to have those kids not have to have a debt of college, but yet the college education. They're educated, they're beautiful, they're not on drugs, they're entrepreneurs to their heart, and that's a big, big achievement, and debt-free. The other goal that I haven't succeeded in, and I mentioned that earlier, is finding that rocking chair piece. It's time to start looking towards, what's up in the next 20 years, and that's a goal that I'm working on now. My dad's a big believer in it, and that is to help other small businesses and help people in general to pay it forward. And part of that is my duty. I always say that Martin Luther King didn't die so I can sit on my laurels. I'm gifted, and I have to pass that on. So I think that helping other small businesses, being a mentor to other small businesses is a key. I also transferred that to my staff. Someone else has this motto, but I live by it. Train your staff well enough so that they can leave, but treat them well enough so that they won't want to. And I live by that.
Actually, I've been working since I was 16 years old. I left Dallas. I got my professional start at a small rural school, secondary school in Mississippi. teaching underserved students in a very, I would say, racially divided city in Mississippi. From there, I moved to Dallas and worked and served in underserved communities like Pleasant Grove, South Dallas, Oak Cliff. From there, I had an opportunity to also then serve as managing director for dislocated workers in areas like Richardson, Garland, Farmers Branch. And that gave me an opportunity to work at the community college, to advance that work in diversity of leadership and administrative offices. And of course, it's led me on the journey that I am now as Associate Vice Chancellor for Workforce and Community Initiatives. You know, I have seen that many times my faith has been the thing that has grounded me. Life often brings about personal and professional challenges. And through many unforeseen valleys as well as mountains, that has been one thing has sustained me and grounded me, has been my faith. I like my heart, because the heart gives you the desire to serve. And it is said that if you have a heart to serve, that's the greatest gift that you can have. I see myself still serving, still making a difference and impacting change, not only in the community, but also in the world. I see myself completing my doctorate and opening my own educational consulting business. Yes and no. The journey for achieving a goal is the destination in which it's planned. And I think that I am on the right destination that God has planned for me. However, the ultimate achievement and accomplishment of any goal is to be able to serve in the destination that He wants you to reach. And for me, that's all about serving without restrictions. So I haven't achieved that goal yet. You know, I have been given the privilege and opportunity to be named the first black female to do this, or the first female to do this, or the first African American to achieve this. My goal is to leave a pathway and an opportunity for there to be a second.
Come to the last honoree, the last woman of wisdom. And let me just tell you something. Sometimes we don't recognize those people who are close to us. We kind of take advantage of them and we take them for granted. Well, I took a trip to Washington and said, let me see what our Congresswoman does. Well, I will tell you this, by the time I left, I was running to the airport to get away from her. Because this woman of wisdom works. You may not see it, but here I am, and our Congresswoman, Eddie Bernice Johnson, will be 85 years old in a few months. But when I tell you that she was working for her constituents in Washington, that is an understatement. I'm understating what she was doing and the amount of respect that she has, and I just wish that all of you could see what she does. She's a mother, she's a family person, she's a community person, and she really cares. And folks respect her because she's done the work. And it is an honor for me to stand here and introduce the last of this class of 2020. What a year it has been. And that is the one and only Honorable Eddie Bernice Johnson.
I am Eddie Bernice Johnson, and I represent the 30th District of Texas in the U.S. House of Representatives. That is all in Dallas County, with the city of Dallas being the largest portion. I really started out in just doing civic work. That's been a long time ago. I moved to Dallas in 1957 and have been had a new experience in Dallas, learning that the stores were not allowing African Americans to try on clothes and try on hats or try on shoes. That was my first challenge. Outside the job, I started at the Veterans Administration as the first professional nurse they had hired. They were looking for a white male by my application, by my name, number one, and number two, by the school of which I had graduated. And so I sat for over 2 hours waiting for my appointment, and finally they asked me my name, and they were quite shocked that I weighed probably 100 pounds less than I'm weighing now. And really, it was a very interesting experience there, very early. That was in 1956. I organized with I was very involved with the YWCA as I was growing up. And so that's where I sought acquaintances because I'd never lived in Dallas before. And Mrs. Dillard was in charge of the Y, and Yvonne Ewell, who has a school name for her here now. And I got together and we organized sensitive black women for opening stores downtown. Now we called ourselves 50 sensitive black women, but we never got up to 50. We probably got up to around 7 or 8. But Imelda Brooks, who is no longer, well, both of them now passed away, but the three of us were the main ones, along with Miss Marian Dillon giving us directions. And so we organized a boycott of downtown. And that was probably my first external display of displeasure for racism in Dallas. And from that, I continued to be involved civically. When there's a 14-man committee, I became a part of the 7-woman committee for open accommodations. And so we worked and met all over the city with various experiences. And after that time, I started being encouraged to think about running for office primarily by white women that I had worked with during all of the days of volunteer work and meeting and discussing open accommodations all over the city in various homes. And Judge Sarah T. Hughes was a federal judge at that time, and she was one of the first ones. She and Mrs. Deary Cabell mentioned to me that they thought it was about time that an African-American woman ran for office. I never even thought about it, didn't dream about it, didn't plan on it, and I really had to give it some thought. But in 1972, in February, I filed for office. It was Stanley Marcus, who had been also the first store that opened when we were demonstrating or boycotting, that offered me a job so that I could run. And so that's really how I got started. Well, you know, life still goes on, and I'm not so sure you ever achieve all you'd like to achieve, but I can say that I have done a lot. Sometimes I wonder how I was able to get it done. But I was always more interested in achieving a goal than being seen or heard. And so I work primarily quietly because I think that to do your homework, to sit up at night and prepare yourself and speak when it's appropriate and not just be mouthing off all the time has been one of my secrets to getting things done. I will be retired. I have really thought about writing more than one book because I'm writing a book now that is kind of an autobiography, but there are many other aspects of which probably will not be so appropriate in that book that I'd like to put in paper so that young people can understand some of the experiences and some of the boldness of which were things we had to do coming along. For example, I don't know how many people would have stayed on a job where they had to walk from the VA hospital downtown after midnight. And I had to do that because of racism. So some of that will be in this book, but also the power brokers of Texas and how they switched. All the people I was working with very early in the Democratic Party became pretty much Republican. And many times our friendship didn't change, but seemingly the philosophies did. And so there are a number of issues that I'd like to perhaps document that will not be documented in the book that I'm writing now. What do I look to leave on society? Well, some of it is very well visible now. I have been on the Transportation Committee as long as I have been in Congress, and of course that's more visible. Some of the things that I've done there are more visible, the DART lines and the highways and freeways, the covers for people to wait for transportation, but also creating the Brownfield Fund that helped to restore downtown Dallas when all those buildings were closed down and were filled with asbestos. We were able to get that funding. As a matter of fact, it was that funding that built Victory Park and the American Center that helped to build that. It made it possible for it to be built. And so and then the resources that I've been able to get for research for both colleges and medical schools. It is not as visible to the naked eye as looking at transportation projects. The programs that I've helped to get into the Dallas Independent School District and the various programs I've been able to do for the municipalities within District 30, like drinking water, making it affordable in Cedar Hill, getting fire trucks and for some of the places. But I don't believe that there is any portion of my district that has not been impacted with my effort. I'm very proud of that.
Good afternoon. I'm Chief Maurice Jones of the Dallas Area Patrol and Protection Services, aka DAPPS. Congratulations on behalf of the Dallas Area Patrol and Protection Services and my officers for the work that you're doing in your community. And God bless you all.
Never thought I'd amount to anything. For me, I never got in my way. Every challenge that I came across, I just gave up and then I laughed it off. At times I didn't start it. There were times when I just gave up. But now that we're together, I'm forever greater in you. And now I'm not afraid of anything that comes my way. I'm a new creation. I can finally say I'm destined for greatness. No more do I fear inside. I'm more than a conqueror, and I can do all things. No one can hold me down. No one can hold me back. I'm gonna look fear in the eye and say I'm greater than you. I'm greater than you. So much greater. Oh! Running from anything I knew to do. All I could think was never, no way. More confusion came and filled my thoughts. I didn't try and then I left it off. At times I didn't start it. I just could not see my breakthrough. But now that I found Jesus, I'm forever greater in you. And now I'm not afraid gonna look fear in the eye and say I'm greater than you. I'm greater. I'm greater. I'm greater. I'm greater than you. No one can hold me now. No one can hold me back. I'm gonna look fear in the eye and say I'm greater than you. No one can hold me down. No one can hold me back. I'm gonna look fear in the eye and say I'm greater than you. No one can hold me down. No one can hold me back. I'm gonna look fear in the eye and say I'm greater than you.
Well, folks, I would like to extend a very warm congratulations to a good friend of mine, someone who is like a sister to me, Ms. Jasmine Crockett, on her recent election as the House District 100 State Representative. House District 100, you got a good one. I've known Jasmine for 16 years now. She's truly a fighter. She's fought in the criminal courthouse. She's fought as a civil rights attorney. She's a very intelligent and passionate young lady. For as smart as she is, her best attribute is her heart. She is very compassionate. She loves people. She loves helping people. So when you combine the two, you have a fighter and someone who loves people. There's no doubt she's going to make a great state rep. Those folks down there don't know what's going to hit them. She's going to represent her constituents to the fullest, and you're going to see great things from Jasmine Felicia Crockett. On behalf of my family, the Farmer family, and my law firm, the Farmer Law Group, we wish to send a warm congratulations to State Representative Jasmine Crockett.
Well, we're back, and we're certainly appreciative of Tisha Owens and the Project Identity. We have been blessed with a wonderful word, and then you've also heard from the inspirational stories of the honorees, the wonderful women of wisdom. And now we'll embark upon letting you see them receive their awards and their kudos from the Elite News and the Blair Foundation. Thank you. Anito, on behalf of the Elite News and the Blair Foundation, I certainly want to congratulate you on being honored and recognized as a woman of wisdom. It is with honor and pleasure that I bestow upon you this distinguished award, and thank you for your diligent service to our city and our community. God bless.
Well, I am privileged and I'm honored to be able to accept this award. I thank you for recognizing me, accepting the work that I do in the community and the love that I put forward, but also the way that God has really blessed me. And thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless and God endowed.
On behalf of Elite News and the Blair Foundation, I would like to present to you the 7th Annual Women of Wisdom Award, State Representative Jasmine Crockett. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I am so excited and so honored to have received this award from Elite News. And specifically, I want to say thank you to Mr. Blair. It is my honor to serve House District 100. Mr. Blair has been a wonderful community partner. Elite News has been in our community for so long, and they make sure that we know what we need to know about who's running for office and so many other things that are going on in our community. Considering what today is, I'm asking that you all remember that every single vote counts. In my particular election, it was only 90 votes that made the difference. Don't let anyone ever tell you that your vote doesn't count or that your voice doesn't matter, because it does. So please join me in voting because on November 3rd, I will officially become the state representative for House District 100 because of all the hard work that people like Mr. Blair do in the community to make sure that you're informed. Thank you again.
Congratulations.
Rolling and action.
Trish Cunningham, on behalf of the Elite News, the Blair Foundation, and certainly those out here in our community who have been a beneficiary of what you've provided from the North Texas Food Bank, we'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you and congratulations for being a woman of wisdom, class 2020. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Mr. Blair, and thank you to all of you. And you know, I really accept this on behalf of the almost 900,000 people who are in our community right now who are food insecure, and for our North Texas Food Bank team and the more than 250 partner agencies across the 13 counties that are every day making sure that people have food on their table. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. To the Honorable Attorney, Judge Bobby Edmond, it is my esteemed honor and privilege to present you with this award as a member of the 7th Annual Class of Women of Wisdom. Thank you for your diligent service and your work within our given community and city. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this precious award. It is precious because the Blair family has made such a powerful impact throughout the Metroplex and throughout the country. And I appreciate being one of your women of wisdom for 2020 in this virtual pandemic era. I will cherish this. I think of my mom and my father. My mother would be smiling for Helen, and my father would be too. Thank you all, and I think Mr. Blair would be looking down and say, amen. Job well done. Elite News, thank you.
Eve Williams, on behalf of the Elite News and the Blair Foundation, it's my esteemed privilege and honor to be able to recognize and honor you as a woman of wisdom with the class of 2020. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this award. I am honored to have gotten this award and also to continue my work in the community and help my fellow women. Thank you.
Paige Flink, on behalf of the Elite News and the Blair Foundation, it's certainly my privilege and it's an honor to be able to extend to you this award for your diligent service to our community, to our city, and certainly to those individuals that you serve. We want to say thank you.
Thank you so much. On behalf of the battered women who we serve at the Family Place, I want to say thank you for this award, because when you give something to me, you really are honoring them. It's been my privilege and a blessing to be able to do this work for over 29 years, and to be honored by you all is really meaningful. Thank you so much.
Now we put a ring on it.
Put a ring on it. Oh, wow. I love that. Thank you.
Congresswoman Johnson, it's my esteemed pleasure from the Elite News and the Blair Foundation to recognize and honor you as a woman of wisdom. I want to add that I know my father is screaming and shouting, and my mother is dancing all over to recognize that you are being honored as a woman of wisdom. Congratulations from the 7th Annual Class.
Thank you very much. Let me express my extreme gratitude to receive this honor. Long before Mr. Blair was grown, I knew his parents. I knew his father as a leader, and I knew his mother as a leader, and they would be proud that he's carrying on the Blair tradition. And I'm so delighted to be recognized by such an esteemed family foundation.
Judge Nash, on behalf of the Elite News and the Blair Foundation, it's my esteemed privilege and honor to be able to award you this Woman of Wisdom Award. But I might add that my father, rest in peace, William Blair, would be immensely proud that you are receiving this award, although he may add it's a bit too late, but nonetheless on time. God bless you, and congratulations from the Elite News and the Blair Foundation.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daryl, and to the Elite News. It is an honor to be recognized by you all this year and for the last 13 years, and the support that the Elite News has given. I appreciate it, and thank you so much.
Hey, this is Will Douglas, candidate for State House District 113. I just want to say congratulations to each of you for being honored as a woman of wisdom, and thank you for your service and commitment to our community. Being new to politics, I have a brand new respect and appreciation for anyone who's willing to step into a life of public service, and I'm looking forward to working with each of you to make Dallas and Texas a better place to live and grow for everyone. Congratulations, and thank you for all that you do.
Judge Monica Purdy, on behalf of the Elite News and the Blair Foundation, it's my esteemed honor and privilege to recognize you as a woman of wisdom with this 7th annual class. With that, we present you with your items. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you, Elite News, and thank you to the Blair Foundation for this award. I am humbled and honored to receive it. I appreciate you acknowledging my service to the community, and I will cherish the award that I've been given today. Thank you very much.
Ms. Daughter Shirley, on behalf of the Elite News and the Blair Foundation, it's certainly a privilege and an honor to present you with the 7th Annual Women of Wisdom Award for all of your hard work and diligent efforts within our city and our communities. We want to thank you for what you do. Congratulations.
Amazing. Oh, thank you. Wow. I'm honored to be recognized among these other accomplished women. And thank you, Mr. Blair and Elite News, for acknowledging all the work and the efforts and the impact that Youth World makes in our community. I'm grateful, I'm honored. Thank you.
Nicole Taylor, on behalf of the Elite News and the Blair Foundation, it's my esteemed privilege, honor, and pleasure to recognize you as a woman of wisdom for all your diligent works in the community and with our given rights. I thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Blair. Thank you to the Elite News, our esteemed publication in Dallas. I also want to thank this panel of women that I've been blessed to be a part of. Lastly, I can't help but thank my husband and my family for their support and everything that they've done to help me in this community.
I just want to say congratulations to my daughter, Eve Williams, who has been very successful in managing the firm, as I did myself, and I was so proud of her to follow in my footsteps as to what she have accomplished in her time as president and CEO of the company. Evelyn Williams, that's my oldest daughter. So she now manages the company along with her daughter, the oldest, is involved with the company as well. So it's a family-owned firm, with 3 generations at this point.
The years in the book, the 7th Annual Class of the Women of Wisdom 2020. It has been a wonderful time to soak and choose and pick of the beautiful fruit that amongst us. We certainly want to congratulate them yet again on their accomplishments, but this is not a resting place. This is simply a refueling station, that you may move forward in your endeavors, that you secure for yourself, and that you embody your community and those who follow. Additionally, I want to take this opportunity to encourage everyone out there to vote, vote, vote. Vote your conscience, vote your issues, but nonetheless vote. It is empowering that you do that. It's imperative that you do that. I want to take the opportunity to thank some sponsors. Additionally, Brian Everson, I want to thank you again. I want to take the opportunity to give kudos to this beautiful production crew, DFWI Video and John Owens, who has done this. This has been a march of his, and he's put his thumbprint on it. I want to thank you. I want to thank those in my staff, and I want to thank those who support us. I want to thank Cheryl Smith with Texas Metro News, Garland Journal, and iMessenger. I want to thank Belinda Hudson, my marketing director for Elite News, and I certainly want to thank Sherry Christian, the director for Elite News, as we embark on yet another year. But before we go, and before we sign off, I want to encourage each and every one of you to be the best in service that you can be for whatever that you're doing. And that when you're doing it, don't worry about pats on the back. Recognize, just as in gossip, also in good. People recognize what you're doing. It's just a matter of if they're going to make it public. And so with that being said, for those of you who recognize those of your peers around you, somebody who you've looked up to and you've seen work and labor lovingly, I want to encourage you, 'to help them be the next, woman of wisdom. And for those out there viewing who know you've done your work and you've put it in, you've gotten your grind on, I want to say to you, will you be next? Let's find out in 2021. But until next time, by the grace of God be with you and his blessings upon you, you know what I want y'all to do? Get it on your mind. God bless and God keep is our prayer. Have a wonderful time.
Hi, my name is Joyce Tapley. I am the Chief Executive Officer for Martin Luther King Jr. Family Clinic and Foremost Family Health Centers. I am a past recipient of the eLight News Women of Wisdom Award, and I'm here today to congratulate each and every one of you for being the 2020 eLight News Women of Wisdom honorees. I'm excited for you, and I am honored to be in the presence of such great and accomplished women. I just have one request, and that is, as you go along the day in your normal, accomplished lives, I ask that you share your health history with your family members if you have not already done so. I come from a long line of family members who have had cancer, diabetes, heart disease, asthma, stroke, and I actually have 3 conditions that I have been managing for over 30 years. And the only reason that I found out about these was because my parents shared what issues they had in their family. And that meant that I had to go and get regular checkups so that I can make sure whatever condition I had, I could manage it and possibly get rid of it. I have 3 wonderful girls, and I'm hoping that they can live long, healthy lives by doing preventive medicine and doing healthy things and changing their lifestyle. And it's my goal to be able to stay around as long as I can. And I ask that you, as wonderful and accomplished women, do the same for the people that you love. Focus on prevention and lifestyle changes, focusing on God and the spiritual aspect will keep us around a long time, and hopefully we will be healthier in the long run. So here's to you, the 2020 eLight News Women of Wisdom honorees. You all are doing great things, and I know you're going to continue to do more. Congratulations, and take care. God bless you.